Hey guys, what is going on? So here we are just kind of working on Martin's range of motion. So one thing that kind of helps with bench press, especially if you have really long arms like we do, is actually pinching your shoulder blades and just basically reducing how far you have to move the bar. So for people like us, we have relatively strong triceps, so it's not that big of a deal. But as you can see here, Martin has pretty long arms. The distance it has to travel is pretty far. Me, on the other hand, we're similar heights. I'm actually a little bit taller. I'm not sure how our arm lengths are, but if you look, my range of motion looks a lot smaller because I really just kind of bring my back into it. So I don't know if he just has way longer arms, but he's working on it here. Obviously, it's something that I've worked on over time, but I think that'll help him be able to push a little bit more weight and have a little bit more of a chest focused lift. Now here we go with OHP. This is 135, which I believe was previously Martin's max. So if you look here, he's able to get, I think, a triple here. And that's kind of the range that I like to work with. I like to do triples. And if you see, this last rep is pretty hard. So I kind of was just saying, he could try and do doubles. Usually, singles through triples. And then here we go trying, I think this is 145, possibly 155, I'm not sure. So that looks like a 1 rep max there. Here's me working in my sets. This is 185. And again, I think it makes a lot more sense to just get a lot of volume in with triples. It doesn't necessarily have to be really hard. And I find that if you do like 3 sets of 3 or 6 sets of 3, and they're tough sets, that can be really taxing. Whereas if you kind of bring it down and get some reps in that are a little bit easier, then it's much better on your nervous system. It allows you to be able to do more reps, more clean reps. And I really think with OHP, a lot of it is about form and, making sure that you push that weight back. It's not about doing the maximum amount of weight every time. And that's something that I've kind of noticed with strength training. People are always trying to push themselves and, go harder than last time. They do that with bodybuilding. And what I've noticed with strength training is that you can use smaller weights, not, close to your 1 rep max, and just push them faster and with better form. And for me, that works a lot better because you're able to consistently just improve on everything without taxing yourself. Now here we go with upright rows. So this is an exercise that I found to be very effective for my upper back, specifically my traps. My traps and just overall my upper back is probably my most developed body part, which is interesting because I have never really trained them. But going back to kind of my high school days when I would lift, with the basketball team and stuff like that, we would do a lot of these. And I don't know why, but I always felt, massive amount of trap activation. So this is something I've started implementing recently. And I think upper back work is really important for bench press, overhead press. I really think it's more important for overhead press. So that's why I think mine is so high, even though it's something that I've only been doing recently, is because I have, pretty strong upper back. So this is a great bodybuilding move, I think. Now, I've heard a lot about it being dangerous for your shoulders and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm not recommending it, but if you can do this safely and it feels good, I think it's a great movement, but to each their own. And then we move on here to rear delt flies, or whatever they're called, rear delt machine. We're doing this on the pec deck, and it's just kind of a 2-in-1 machine here. And again, I think, upper back, rear delts kind of go hand in hand a lot of times. I feel these really fried when I do like weighted pull-ups. And if you think about it in terms of kind of having like a row type movement, or, this vertical pull, that can kind of be similar to the kind of stimuli that we're introducing when we do a bench press, and we're trying to kind of pull that weight down, on the eccentric phase. So I think rear delts help with aesthetics. I think they help with, just overall pulling efficiency and having that opposite motion when it comes to bench press. So we did a lot of these, and we did drop sets for both. So obviously with the upright rows, we did drop sets as well, except we weren't dropping the weight necessarily. So just kind of that same mentality of having small rests in between, whereas this one we were dropping the weight because it is a machine. So I find with machines, it's a lot easier to actually do drop sets because it takes like 5 seconds to move the pin on the weight, as opposed to if you're doing upright rows, for example, you have to change the weights on either side. And we were only doing like the bar with like maybe a little bit of weight for upright rows. And so you kind of can't drop the weight because the bar weight's 45 pounds. So We've kind of found that, picking one weight, doing something that you can do maybe 15 reps or so, and then just continuously dropping the amount of reps that you do when you do your kind of drop set style works a lot better if you can adjust the weight. Obviously, with machines, you can go ahead and drop that weight really quickly, and that's why I personally prefer machines for bodybuilding. But to each their own. A lot of people don't like machines. I didn't use them for years, but I find that for bodybuilding specifically, they work extremely well. So I try and implement them into my training. Then we have everybody's favorite workout, which is arms. Now Martin loves these curls, and for me, I just don't really get the same contraction out of these. But he really likes these, so kind of that alternating movement kind of allows you to get a lot more volume. It seems like, and he really feels it on these. So he's doing those. Really slow movements, so that's really good, and great time under tension. So probably getting massive biceps doing these. And that's always good to see. So for me, I don't have a great mind muscle connection with my bicep. I mean, I can flex it, but in terms of getting like a good pump on any given exercise, it's really not, very easy for me. So I'm doing these like concentration curls, whatever they're called. And I keep talking throughout this just because when I lift with somebody else, I can never be quiet, which is one reason why working out alone can sometimes be a little bit easier for me. But yeah, this is the thing that I did for biceps. Not the greatest workout ever in terms of biceps, but gets it done. And then here we have the band pull aparts for the triceps. And this is obviously a move that a lot of people do. People do it at different angles, trying to hit different heads of the tricep in different ways. But this is definitely a great way to get a good pump. And yeah, I was just kind of getting sick of doing the other ones that I was doing. And I've kind of found that as the long head of my tricep has kind of gotten a better mind muscle connection, these feel a lot better than they used to. When I used to do these, I would just only feel them kind of in my the other parts of my tricep, and it didn't really seem effective. Didn't seem like they were growing my triceps, and now I really kind of feel it in my long head. So I think this is one of those things where if you have the mind muscle connection, it works great. If not, you should probably work on it with other movements, but I've kind of established that over the last few months, so pretty happy with this. But yeah, that's how we finish the workout. Arms every day, trying to get those big guns, and yeah, definitely got a good pump here. And yeah, that was the workout.